Hi guys, so first of all, I hope you had a phenomenal break, you got some rest. The school year is winding down. Super proud of those of you who have really been showing up, doing what you need to do to keep on top of it during online learning. Really great job. We're almost there. We got to keep pushing. All right, so quick announcements before we get started. If you have not yet submitted your World War I quiz that was due, I think, on Saturday or Sunday, please just make sure you do so. I'll leave it open for an extra day, but after that, I'm going to cut you off, and then it would be a 0 on a quiz. So please make sure to submit your quiz. Before break, we finished studying World War I. Today, we are launching our unit called World War II and Human Rights. It's our study of World War II, the Holocaust, and how the world tried to prevent the Holocaust from happening again in the future. So it's a really important unit, and I'm glad we're ending the year with such an important subject. So let's get started. I will be able to explain why individuals in the Axis countries accepted totalitarianism, fascism, and Nazism in the years leading up to World War, can't really see that, II. This is World War II. Sorry, guys. Okay? So a couple of things that I noticed right off the bat. First off, we've got this term, Axis countries. The Axis countries were labeled on your World War II map in your RTL. If we zoom into our World War II map from today, which was on your RTL, we'll see that the Axis power countries are labeled in red, while the Allied power countries are labeled in yellow. The Axis countries were an alliance of countries that fought during World War II. If we look at our timeline down here, World War II was fought between two groups of countries. Each group of countries had an alliance with each other. So the Axis countries, we saw those in red on our World War II maps from the RTL. The Axis countries were Germany, Japan, and Italy. There were a few more. However, these were the three main countries that fought together in an alliance as the Axis powers, as the Axis countries. They fought against the Allied powers. Those were the countries in yellow. So that eventually included US, France, England, which at this point is known as the United Kingdom, and China. So the Allied powers was one group. There you go. Sorry, guys, just adjusted the camera a little bit. The Allied powers was one group, one alliance. They fought against the Axis powers, Germany, Japan, and Italy. World War II was between 1939 and 1945. Just 20 years earlier, there was World War I between 1914 and 1919. Remember again that during World War I, just like in World War II, there were groups of countries that fought alongside each other in alliances. So in the Allied power side during World War I, we had the US, we had England, got France again. On the Central power side, we had Germany. Germany was over here, Austria-Hungary. Over here, we also had Russia, okay, and Italy. So Italy ends up switching sides during World War II. Anyways, though, just like in World War I, in World War II, there are groups of countries that have alliances with each other, fighting against each other during a global war. So now that we know that the Axis countries are the group of countries that fought on one side during World War II, we're ready to go through the other additional new terms in our learning target today. So there are three other big terms, I'm just adjusting the camera, guys, sorry, that I noticed right away in this learning target that are new to us. We have totalitarianism, fascism, and Nazism. Right away, one similarity between these different words that I notice is that they all end with ism. They all end with ISM at the end. Think of other words that end with ism. Racism, sexism, Buddhism, Judaism. Okay? All of these words also end in ISM. ISM, that all those ism words just mean the word is about a belief in something, or belief that something. So racism is a belief that white people are better, right? Sexism is the belief, it's got that ism in it, the belief that men are better, right? All in quotes. Buddhism, obviously racism and sexism, these are negative ideas. We have a very negative association with racism, sexism. But that ism word doesn't have to be bad. Buddhism is just the belief, Buddhism is a religion, the belief in literally the power of the deity Buddha. Right, so all those ism words simply mean a belief in something. So our three new words, totalitarianism, fascism, and Nazism, are all a belief in something, but we don't know what that belief is yet. I can tell you that people believing in these three ideas is directly responsible for World War II. World War II would not have happened if people didn't believe in totalitarianism, if people in the Axis countries didn't believe in fascism, if people in the Axis countries, Japan, Germany, and Italy, if people in those Axis countries had not believed in Nazism. So in order to understand why World War II starts, we need to understand what these three terms are and why people in the Axis countries, in Germany, in Japan, Germany, and Italy, chose to believe in them before World War II. So today in your main activity, and so at this point, you should definitely watch that brain pop video, which is posted. I'm not including it in today's video because I have noticed that when I do that, the quality of the video really drops. So go back to the main post from today to find the brain pop video that explains the main causes of World War II. After you've done that, you can begin today's main activity, which I'm going to explain how to do now. So if we go to our daily packet for today and scroll down, we'll find our fascism, totalitarianism, or Nazism graphic organizer. Part 1, directions. In the first part of this activity, you will read profiles of individuals from the Axis countries who were living in the years before World War II. Profiles is like a character description. After reading each profile, you will determine whether the individual would have accepted totalitarianism, fascism, or Nazism in the years leading up to World War II, and be able to explain why. Use the types of government vocab bank below to complete the fascism, totalitarianism, or Nazism chart at the bottom of this page by the end of the day today. You need to click on the link in the left-hand column to access the profiles. Pick 5 profiles from any of the Axis countries. So if we scroll down, we'll find our fascism, totalitarianism, or Nazism chart. Obviously, we don't know what these 3 beliefs, and all 3 beliefs have to do with government, but we don't know what these 3 beliefs are, what they mean. We need to use our vocabulary bank to help us figure out what fascism, totalitarianism, or Nazism is. Or you can watch the Brain Pop video. Now, in order to complete our chart for today, we're going to need to click on the link in the left-hand column. When we click on that link, we'll be brought to a PowerPoint that includes descriptions of different people who either really lived or would have lived during World War II, in the years leading up to World War II. So Adolf Hitler, you've probably heard of Hitler. Mussolini, you may have heard of, he's the dictator of Italy. You might have, you may have heard of the Emperor of Japan, maybe not. And then there are some profiles of regular people who would have lived in Japan, regular people who would have lived in Italy before World War II, regular people that would have lived in Germany, etc. So your job is to read through the profile, the description of the individual, and using the information in their profile description, fill in the rest of your fascism, totalitarianism, or Nazism chart. In the first column, you're going to answer the question, or in the center column, excuse me, you're answering the question, what struggles did this character face in the years leading up to World War II? Explain in 1 to 3 sentences. Do not copy and paste, obviously. Paraphrase based on the information available in the profile. And in the last column, which form of government, fascism, totalitarianism, or Nazism, do you think this person would have preferred? Explain why. If you do not explain why, you will receive no credit in that last column. I should see at very minimum 2 sentences in your explanation. Pick 5 characters. They don't all have to be from the same Axis country. They can be from Germany, Japan, or Italy. It can be any 5 characters. If you would like to do all the characters of Germany and 2 from Italy, none from Japan, that's okay. The very last step for today is to complete your exit ticket.